Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the Crowncast, the only cast where you can listen to us, profit like a goddamn king, and hear about some sports news. Today, we're going to be bringing you guys an informational video here. We thought it would be beneficial to educate
It's a podcast,
those
motherfucker, not a video.
Podcast. You're right. You're right. To educate the viewers on how betting works, what bets are the most profitable, where will you find the most value. And what sports we personally like to bet the most, and for those sports, what bets we like to use. So, I think we're just going to jump right into it today and, go over the four main types of bets. And I'm going to let Mike go ahead and introduce himself today. And
Yep. I'm Big Mike, or at least that's what I'm going to go by on the podcast, we decided. But for those who listened last week, hopefully you heard the authenticity and the trueness of us not knowing what the fuck we're doing, because we've never done a podcast. So this whole process is new to us. We are constantly learning and trying to grow with it. And I'm pretty sure you will hear examples of that as we go. Before we dive into the four things that we want to talk about this week, I think, Joe, maybe we should do like a little recap of last week.
Yeah, for sure.
It was nothing big. All we did was kind of an intro, talked about who we are. Two guys, Mike and Joe, your basic average Joe fucking names.
Our backstory and, how we're 21 and we make money.
Yep, 21-year-olds trying to make money off betting. Well, Joe's been doing it the last 2 years now. He talked about his experience. He's made over $50,000 in the last yearish. I mean, so again, 21-year-olds really trying to look and educate people that there is money to be made in sports betting. By no means are we preaching that this is a quit your desk job and be a professional gambler, because we are not professional gamblers.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not what we're saying. That's not our intention with this whole project. Rather, just to show people that there's money to be made in betting. You can do it from your computer. You don't even have to leave the house. We just want to show people that you can make this a profitable, fun, enjoyable side hobby.
It's
and
definitely
that's really
a
what
fun time. I mean, for real.
Yeah, I mean, it just for those who like sports in general.
And like to be frank with you, you don't have to. It's not about like making it crazy about the money. I mean, $5-10 a bet. It's a fun thing to do. Like we said, go to the bar with some dudes and watch some games, and throw $5-10 down and make some money.
Yeah, go throw a few bets down. Go out. Go spend $200 at the bar and not be in the hole the next morning when you wake up because your bets fucking hit the night before. So we're not making $1,000 bets, large bet. Well, Joe's kind of an idiot sometimes, but we're just trying to show you how to make valuable, safe, not safe for the most part, valuable, safe bets or picks that we provide.
That'll make a profit over time.
Yep, that will make you a profit over time. We're also gonna introduce you guys to a few different systems that we have been using, that we've been testing. They've proven to be effective. We've learned them from professional gamblers, from different books. We've been reading podcasts. I mean, we've been studying like animals these last few months, trying to take in anything we can. But
and I wanna say, the thing that will probably separate us from a lot of other bettors out there is we're not taking just knowledge and just throwing it out there. We're not just gonna say, "Oh, I like the Cubs today," just because I woke up in the morning and I looked at the lines. We take time into consideration to do our systems and actually bring, like accurate picks day in and day out, because it's the only reason you guys are here is to, one, listen to our dumbasses, and two, make some money. That's the only two reasons here, or else nobody would be here. So I think today, the goal is for you guys to hear our knowledge and, listen to us preach about our types of bets. So
really quick before we get in, one last time, Joe, Triple Crown, what the fuck is it? What is our vision? What are we looking to do with this?
Well, we're going to
dropping soon.
Dropping the website 2 weeks from now. It is now March 18th today. This will be dropping first week of April. We're pretty much done designing now. It's just waiting to get the final results from our systems and making sure it's good to go. And, our vision here is, it's plain and simple. We're going to profit, and we're going to all live like motherfucking kings together. And the goal is we're spreading the money around. Everyone's going to be rich.
Yeah,
we're going to beat the bookies here.
We want to create a community of sports bettors who love sports and like to make a little money on the side while watching those sports. Like I said, the website will have free daily picks. It'll have informational videos on systems that we use and how to use those videos. It's going to have a ton of good stuff. We're looking at a clothing line to kind of go with it down the road. I wouldn't say down the road, maybe sooner than later.
Yeah, we're gonna bring some pretty cool stuff to the table. Not just your average get your picks and go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a lot of stuff to read and take in and actually enjoy watching.
Yeah, we just I don't know, what can we call? I mean, almost like the Facebook of gambling. We want to create a community. A community of like-minded individuals, sports money, that can come together every day, talk, discuss what they're thinking, their thoughts, picks, trends, whatever you so name it, but makes it easy for those daily and diehard bettors to do so.
Gamblers get a bad rap. You know, we get known as degenerates who blow their money away, but that's not always the case.
No, it's not.
And we're gonna prove that here on our website. So I mean, if you haven't already, go and check out the first episode of the cast. If you're new here, appreciate you joining and listening. You know, we're on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, you name it, we're there.
SoundCloud.
And just go ahead and give us a listen. Let us know what you think. You know, you follow us on Twitter at Triple Crown Bets. And give us a follow, shoot us a tweet, whatever. You know, we're active 24/7. And what do you say we jump right into this?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna let Mike take it over here. You know, his style of betting is, you know, we have similarities, but also a little bit of differences. I'm gonna let him go into his two favorite types of bets and break them down, why he likes them and what sports he likes to bet.
All right, getting into it. Let's see. What do we want to talk about first?
I think you're more that spread.
That spread? That was kind of the one I was going to lay off. Let's talk money line first. Okay, so for those who don't know, if you go to look at an online sportsbook, if you step into a casino, you're going to see numbers over, under, spread, money line. These are all different types of bets that can be placed on games. And to kind of break it down a little, let's talk about the over, under first. So the over, under is going to be betting how many points, goals, runs are going to be scored in the game total by both teams. So, soccer we'll use as an example because I think that's Joe's favorite sport to bet. It's probably been his most profitable to bet to this point. And there's a fucking shitload of soccer games every single day, so you have many opportunities to get your hands on one of these a day. So let's say if the soccer over-unders are typically set at about 2.5, I would say would be the average. If you take the over, you're not winning unless somebody scores 3 goals, or unless total both teams score 3 goals together, or 4 or 5. If you take the under, you're not winning unless 2 goals or less are scored. So it could be a shutout, it could be a 1-1, it could be a 2-0. It doesn't matter how the scoring is stacks team to team. It's just that total number of scoring is under. Sometimes in soccer you'll see the over/under set at 2, the over/under set at 3. When it's not set at a half or offset at a not whole number, those bets are worth taking a look at for the sole fact that they have the opportunity to push. Now, what does it mean to push? If a bet pushes, let's say a soccer over/under is set at 3 goals are scored that game. 2 by one team and 1 by another. Or fuck it, 3 by one team, 0 by another. Like we said, it doesn't matter. 3 goals are scored in the game. You took the over. That bet pushes, since it did not go over, to not go under. It hit the exact over-under, and you get your money back. You don't make any, you don't lose any. It's a pretty safe way, especially when you're looking at a game where the over-under is set at 2, and you're looking at a game going, yeah, this is definitely going to push. I definitely see 2 goals being scored here. There's a really good chance of the third. Well, to throw down money on that game, there's a 50% chance, most likely, if it's set at that number, that the bookies themselves are predicting the score to be that, and they're hoping to give a pushback out to everyone so they don't have to pay anyone for the game. I mean, that's kind of their thinking, too. It's kind of two sides going against each other. You've got the public side who's betting. We're looking for value. But then behind the doors, you have the bookies who sometimes are offsetting odds to kind of draw you or entice you to bet another side when this other side may clearly be winning. And you may know in your heart, in your gut, the facts may say it. You may look at the stats and the trends from the last 10 games. But for some odd reason, the other side has better odds. The bookies do that intentionally to draw you to that side to get you to bait you and bet the loss eventually. So that's kind of over-unders in a nutshell. Soccer, they're typically set at about 2.5. Baseball, they're anywhere between 7.5 and 9.5. And hockey, they're typically 5.5 for games that they're predicting to be high scoring. They're going to be set at about 6. What are we missing? Basketball really varies. All they do to calculate basketball over and unders is they take the average points scored by a team, and they add it with the average points scored by another team per game, and that's how they get their over under. It's really not anything tricky. Basketball over unders are pretty. I would say basketball over unders are probably less tricky than soccer to pick. Maybe that's just me. Joe would definitely say opposite, but I think you can look at a team where. Do they have any injuries? How good is one team's defense? Because if you have one team who plays great defense and one team that doesn't, well, you know that the team that they're playing great defense against is probably not going to score a lot in the game. And if they're teams that don't score a lot to begin with, well, there you go. Now they're probably only scoring 90, maybe 95 at most in your head at that point.
Right.
So these are just little things, little factors that implement and will make a difference when it comes down to making your picks and your decisions for the day. Joe, let's transition a little bit and let's talk about spreads.
Yeah, for sure.
You take the reins on this one.
I would say that your spreads are going to be most profitable in a football and or basketball setting.
For sure.
Soccer is definitely a fade for spreads. I mean, most spreads are set at 1, and sometimes even just a half, and it's really hard. You know, people think soccer goals are easy to come by. They're really not. Same with hockey. Hockey's always typical spreads are 1.5 for the favored team. Most hockey games really aren't separated by 2 goals, and we've seen that recently. You know, we tried ourselves a hockey spread system, ended up flopping. You know, it was worth a try just to see.
It fucking sucked. It was a learning experience.
It was a learning experience.
Good, yeah.
You know, it's okay, but you know, it just wasn't. It wasn't where it was at. I think that spread for basketball has a lot of factors going into it, and that's why a lot of people like to bet it. Away teams versus home teams, who gets favored, records, stuff like that. I mean, tonight we're looking at, it is Sunday. We're looking at the Celtics and the Pelicans just as a sample game. You know, Celtics are away. They have a few injuries, but Kyrie Irving comes back. They're at a plus 2.5 spread. Now, the thing that they want you to pick is that plus 2.5 spread because Pelicans don't have a lot of weapons. They lost their center and DeMarcus Cousins, but we're going to think that, the Celtics are a pretty good team. They got a better record. The thing that draws me to that bet of plus 2.5 is Celtics are a way better away team than Pelicans are a home team. You know, that would be a solid bet to throw some cash down and see.
Who else is out on the Celtics right now?
It's Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart's
are the 2 biggest weapons. But if you think about it, 3 points isn't a big deficit for the Celtics to cover. And
no, not at all.
It's not at all. So, you know, that would be pretty much summing up.
24-9 on the road.
24-9 on the road, and you got Pelicans at 18 and 15 at home. Anthony Davis has been a monster lately, but if you think about it, you can only be a monster for so long. You can really only shed some light on it for so long. So I would say that, you know, that would be like a solid pick for me tonight because, you know, the spread's low. I prefer low spreads over high spreads because blowouts are hard to predict. I mean, you can't always predict. I mean, we've seen how many times. I mean, we saw earlier this season, Golden State plays Phoenix at home. Golden State was minus 19 in the spread, and they lose by 35. How do you predict that? You don't. You put all your money on the Golden State, and you get smoked. That's what you do.
Yep. Golden State's burned me
a few times now.
It burned me like 4 times in the last month, man.
But I feel like spread mostly runs for football. And if for people who don't really know what spread means, you're either going to be a plus or a minus. Minus spread is your team has to win by that exact amount or more to be able to cash. And if you're plus, you're allowed to lose by the number of points or win the game. So for football, you get the Bears versus the Packers. Bears are plus 7, Packers are minus 7. Are the Bears going to win or lose by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, or are the Packers going to win by 7 or more? That's pretty much how it'll work. Spreads play a lot of factors in football. Home teams, home field advantage plays a lot. Weather plays a lot of advantage. Injuries, stuff like that. Football is definitely a spread game. It is meant for spreads. That is what it's meant for. So that's pretty much, what we think.
So, for example, to put that into context, so the Boston Celtics are favorite. Their spread is minus 2.5 tonight. Joe, if I bet the Celtics spread and they only win by 2,
you lose.
Do I cash out? No, exactly. I lose. So they would have to win by 3 for that win. Now let's say,
Well, the Celtics are plus 2.5, so they can lose by 2.
yeah, whoops, my bad. Brother.
Pelicans, if it would be on the flip side. So if the Pelicans win by 2, they don't win because their spread is minus 2.5. And it's understandable to say that Anthony Davis has been averaging 30 to 40 points a game for the past 2 months.
So
Guy's
ugly.
a goddamn animal.
So
I mean,
ugly.
you can't really fade that. I mean, you can't really go against that, especially when you look at a team like Boston and their men in the paint are way smaller than Anthony Davis, and to be honest, they don't really have that many weapons down low. So, I mean, you got a guy in Al Horford who's played way too many seasons in the NBA, and he's going to try and go up against a young kid who's like 23. It's not going to happen. He's going to get burned every time. So that's why I would say if you're going to bet spread, I would go towards football. I would not try and, I mean, basketball is a safe second, but football is going to be the easiest to predict because the spreads are pretty much similar game to game. Obviously if the Patriots are playing the Browns, they might ump it up to minus 14 or something like that, but pretty much spreads are going to be the easiest. For us, I would say, I'm not sure about Mike, I'll let him speak on this in a second, but my favorite bet personally is an over-under bet, especially when you look at soccer, because I personally feel like a lot of money is in soccer, and I can't bet money
I'm
lines.
starting to see that.
I can't bet money line in soccer when it's a 33% chance because you have the chance of a tie.
Yeah, see, that's what sucks, and that's what people have to know about sports. Like, I didn't even watch. I mean, I played soccer when I was 9, but I didn't even know. I didn't realize you could tie in soccer, like in the game ends in a draw. And so, I mean, these are just little things that it's important to know about each sport, depending on whatever sport you're betting on. But you should know your sport enough. Like, for me, it would not be smart for me to originally bet soccer if I didn't even know that they could draw. But fuck, I'm still making money off it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the
So
over-unders
just goes to show
is
you don't need to
definitely
know the sport inside out. But
like Mike was talking about earlier. You put an over-under at 2 in soccer, it's literally very low risk. I mean, to be honest, most games either end 2-1 or 1-1.
Yep.
So if you look at that percentage, you're guaranteed to push every time. So it's literally, I would say, 10 to 20% risk on those bets, and that's pretty much just, on the off chance that happens, there's nothing you can really do. There was no predicting you could have done to change that. So yeah, that's gonna really like wrap up our favorite sports, stuff like that. What we like to bet,
money line,
over under. Mike's a money line guy. He likes to parlay.
I'm a big money line guy. Yeah, I love my parlays. I mean, I like to play it safe. I definitely think parlays are a death trap that you will spiral out of control in if you don't bet it cautiously or try to cover your losses. But obviously, when you throw 2 teams together, 3 teams together, and you see that value jump a crazy amount, it's enticing. I mean, definitely makes you wanna hit that bet, but you got to be careful on what you're doing with those.
You got to be really careful because basketball, they purposely put those money lines odds higher than they actually need to be.
Yeah, you can
you won't make as much money back, and then you find out that, like, let's put Mike's fallout on Friday when Golden State decided to bench Kevin Durant at the last second when he already.
No, they didn't bench him. The pussies had fractured ribs or whatever. Fuck him.
So you have Golden State, no
Kevin
Steph
Durant,
Curry,
if
no
you
Klay
didn't
Thompson.
need money and needed a triple crown and ever wanted to use us to help make money, I would say fuck you because you suck and you lose me a lot of money.
Boycott Kevin Durant 2018.
Yes, boycott.
So pretty
Kevin
much, Mike throws his money down early on a parlay. Golden State's like what, minus 800, something like that.
Yeah.
And they're playing the Sacramento Kings at home. Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson are out, but Kevin Durant's an easy 40-point game for that motherfucker, and he decides to not play. Fractured
Decides
ribs.
to not play, and then when
And
he
they
didn't
lose
play,
by
just to show you
5.
how much the money lines changed, they were what minus? I think they're minus 800 or 900 in the morning when I bet him, and I bet him in the morning, which is something that I'm learning not to do.
Things change.
This is something we can talk about as well. Yes,
Yeah.
knowing when to place your bets in the day. Always place them right before the game starts because you
I'd
never know
say-
what's going to change going up to that game. If someone's going to all of a sudden come up with an illness, if someone could have the stomach flu an hour before the game, someone could end up getting injured in warm-ups.
There's a lot of times where you see it. Family issues play into fact. I mean, players are people too.
Isaiah Thomas last year with
Yep.
with his system. I mean, obviously he still played like a fucking warrior.
Salute to Isaiah Thomas. We're
yeah.
fans. We're big fans.
Yeah,
So,
big fans. But
Hour before is
Yeah, so
definitely a safe time limit.
Yeah.
I would not go any more than an hour. I just think like most reports on games are going to come out about an hour before to at least give people some time, because there are people who play DraftKings, FanDuel, and stuff like that. Those injuries play a big factor in setting lineups, but it also plays a big factor for us, spreads, stuff like that. When those injuries come in, the lines change.
Yeah,
they change hard.
So to show you, to give an example of how much the lines change, and use me as a personal example who just fucking lived through this nightmare 2 days ago. I wake up, I put my bets down, probably like 7:30 or 8 in the morning when the lines came out, just because I didn't want to have to think about it for the rest of the day. I was going to work. I had other shit going on. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm driving home about an hour before the game starts starting, and I give Joe a call just to kind of check in and see how his bets are doing for the day, if he was making money. We always just kind of check in on each other, make sure one of us is making money, pulling the weight. But anyway, so I call him, I look, and all of a sudden I see Kevin Durant's not playing. What the fuck? Joe, what do you think about this? I should still hopefully win, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm like, yeah, no chance. I just lost my money. But anyways, the lines were in the morning were, I think, Warriors minus 800, minus 900. They went down to the Warriors minus 210. Eventually, right before the game started, it was minus 200, and then it got as low as minus 180, Golden State. Well, I had them at their minus 800 or whatever they were in the morning. Yeah, obviously, you can't cancel bets or back out of bets.
Unfortunately, I would do that every day.
Yeah. Otherwise, this
once you give the bookie your money, it's his. To be honest, until you win. But yeah, I would definitely say.
Yeah, so I
mean,
do
not make your bets early, because you will regret it. You will look at games like, I'm going to use soccer as an example. I made a bet this morning, and it was over under of 3, and right before the game started, the over under dropped to 2.5. So if it hits 3, my bet only pushes, but if I would have waited till the next day, my bet of 3 would have cashed, and it ended up hitting 3. So I ended up pushing, getting my money back, which I'm not complaining, but I could have profited if I just would have waited a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to make clear is, be patient, because I know lines look great the day before. Chances are they're going to get a little better right before the game starts.
Yeah. So and I can't speak too much to football, but I mean, for soccer and basketball, the money lines will vary a lot. So for soccer, your money lines are probably even on games where it looks like, you'll see some minus 900, minus 1,000s for like first or second ranked teams literally facing the last place team in the league or division. But typically it's really only going to get into like that 2 to minus 200, minus 300, maybe minus 400 range on most of them, just because it's not a 50-50. It's not a win or lose. With soccer, it's a win, lose, or draw. So now there's 3 possible outcomes. So your money line in soccer is not when it comes to money line, I personally would never recommend you using it in soccer, for the sole fact of, due to the fact they can tie, there's 3 potential outcomes. Your chances of winning immediately go from 50% down to 33%. Just statistics.
And I want to let everybody know, ties happen in soccer 40% of the time. So
at
your
least
odds actually just heightened for a tie to happen. Doesn't matter how good the team is, stuff like that. There are so many factors that go into a soccer game, and that's why I find it the most profitable, because the odds are so hard to predict.
Yeah.
If you think about it, how can you predict a red card? How can you predict somebody getting taken out of a game?
Pretty even ranked teams playing each other alone.
How can you predict a penalty? How can you predict a penalty kick? Penalty kicks are 85% completed. I mean, you can't predict a free goal. So, injuries and stuff play a fact, but I think what we should talk about now is, we've been talking about a lot of injuries, been talking about a lot of players missing. There's this app out there, and I want everybody to go and download it. We are not being sponsored by this app by any means. This is literally we should be
for how much we're gonna push their shit.
But this is probably, in my opinion, and I've been betting for 2 years, the most usable app I've ever found in my life. It is called Flash Score. I mean, go and download it on any app store, whether it's Google or Android.
Free 99.
Free, yeah, definitely free, and it's got every sport you can possibly find. Every game, you can look a week in advance. You can look a week behind you. It's got, head-to-head points for score. Last time they played together, all the way going back to like before 2000.
How they do on the road, how they do away, what their lines are set to be.
You can look at
it's the fucking holy grail of quick statistics at the hand.
You're going to get your live stats. You're going to get everything that you can imagine. A live video or a live text commentary of how it's doing, points scored, stuff like that, who scored. It's literally
they have every single sport out there.
They have every sport. Every sport
baseball,
out there.
Basketball, football, soccer, hockey, anything you could think of, they have.
I think for soccer and hockey, it's the most viable. You can see standings, you can see top scorers in the league, you can see, and I also want to say on the lineups page, you can look at who the lineup is starting. You can see who's not going to play, no matter what the sport is, whether it's hockey, baseball, soccer, whatever. You can see who's not playing. You can look at a live look at the actual either hockey rink or soccer field or whatever, who's starting, what position is starting in, what formation, stuff like that. So it's really one of the most useful apps I've ever come across as far as information comes. You're going to get all the information you ever need and more. And actually, this is what we use to get a lot of our statistics and what we use to actually gain a lot of our information.
There's another one we're going to talk about next week as well. We're going to save that for the next episode. But, Flash Score definitely.
Flash Scores for sure.
Flash Score, FLASH Score. It's money.
It's definitely money. So I think we've covered,
money,
everything that we need to cover for, what types of bets, stuff that we like and whatnot. We've talked about what bookies do, how we beat them, and
most profitable or most valuable sport.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's talk about it because it's coming up. Money season is upon us, everybody, which we should all be very
Baseball is
excited
coming.
for.
Spring training. I believe that the Chicago Cubs start next week.
Yeah.
I believe they start next week on the road, so we won't get them
Cincinnati?
here first. Cincinnati.
Fuck Cincinnati. We're from Chicago, by the way. If you skip the
we're
first
big
episode,
Cubs fans here, so
you jumped right in. Yeah, we're diehard Cubs fans. But no, it doesn't mean we're going to be betting the Cubs all year long.
Just because they're your
Despite
favorite
them
team,
probably winning
doesn't
96 plus games this year.
Easily.
I don't think they'll break 100, but
No,
I think they'll.
No. That was only a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's a one-time thing.
Never again. Maybe in 100 years.
Yeah, we're realists. As much as we want to
We're
say
not
they won
gonna-
110 this year, they won't. But
we'll be at the games this year, drinking beers, watching our money flow in. So it's no, it's.
drinking my free beers as my bets pay for them.
Exactly. So that's what we want to talk about. We wanted to go over all of our bets, types of bets, and what we like to bet, and what sports are best for what types of bets, and pretty much useful information you can gain from the Flash Score app and stuff like that. And I would definitely stay tuned. Next weekend, we're going to be going over some more NBA knowledge, NHL knowledge, soccer knowledge, whatever. We're going to be going over that and making sure that everybody stays updated on these injuries, stuff that can make or break your bets. And we're gonna. So I think we're gonna sign off.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. So thanks again for listening, as always. Joe, why don't you go ahead, give the Twitter handle one more time, give your email. We actually, this is pretty fucking cool because, so we did our first podcast ever, whatever, last week. And we actually had people emailing us that listened to it, just giving suggestions for things they'd like to hear, questions they have that they would like answered. So I thought that was fucking cool because obviously like we said, we've never done a podcast before. We don't know who's listening. If anyone's even listening, we could be fucking talking to ourselves in the basement. I mean, who knows?
There's definitely an audience out there for this stuff. So what I want to do is go ahead and just shout out our social media really quick. I think what we'll start with, let's go with our Twitter handle. You can follow us at Triple Crown Sports Bets. I think after Sunday, that day, we gained about 15 followers just like that day following the podcast. I want you to go ahead and, if you have any questions, whatnot, send us an email at Triple Crown Sports Bet. Or
Tell
Triple
a friend. Make them think you're crazy. Tell them how you found some quick to get rich fucking bullshit scheme out there.
Email you. We'll
send them to Triple Crown.
We'll go ahead. DM us your picks, whatever. We'll tell you what's good and what's not. We're not going to charge you for knowledge. That's not what we're going to do. So email is triplecrownsportsbets@gmail.com. Twitter is at Triple Crown Bets, and go ahead and check out our YouTube channel. This episode will be up there. As well, our YouTube is at Triple Crown.
Can you leave comments on the YouTube?
You can leave comments. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Our first episode from last week is up there. Let us know.
It was sloppy. It was
a little sloppy, but this week
we're having a few beers. We were trying to loosen up, trying to get our footing and find out what direction
I think
this
we're a
is
lot
gonna
better
go
this week, and
I think we're a lot better.
We're grounded in this, and we're getting a feel for it. Check out that sweet cover art, Triple Crown cover art.
The cover art is dope. Wait till you see that shit on some shirts.
We just updated it, and we updated it, and I'm gonna shout out my designer. He knows who he is, and
maybe some Triple Crown socks and undies in the future. Who knows?
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
Who knows what's to come?
Triple Crown Speedos for the swimmers.
Triple Crown fucking Speedos. Can you bet swimming? Is that a thing?
You can bet the Olympics.
Can you?
Yeah, you can bet swimming. I'm sure you can. Michael Phelps all day.
I'd put money on you in a Speedo.
And me?
That's fucked up.
100%.
100%.
All right. So
that's all we got for this week.
And
Big Mike signing off.
And Joe as well. We'll see you guys in a few days for another Crowncast.
Make some money this week.
Peace out.